Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Errant Update. Right. There is a lot I want to talk about today actually, but I also want to get on with making the videos for this week's shows. So I'll try to keep it short-ish, because I decided to not make my tutorials and other stuff like that 2 weeks in advance, but keep the channel alive so that I can always take requests and comments from a week and react to them the next week. And that of course means that I can't just build up a library of episodes and then throw them out there. And I think that is the right choice, because I'm all about the interaction, and I love to make videos based on people's requests. But that also means that right now I want to get as much done as I can on Monday, because then I can see how I should spend my time for the rest of the week. That being said, Night Errant and battle reports will not fall into that category. That is only for the regular hobby shows, so it's for errand painting and hobby tips. Night Errant will almost always be filmed in advance, because when I get some people together and we get the right atmosphere in the room, I like to make as many episodes in a night as I can. And if you've seen the last episode of Night Errant, that was filmed this Saturday and uploaded this Saturday actually. So much for what I just said. But this Saturday we managed to film, I think, 6 or 7 episodes. I haven't watched them all yet. Some of them might be unusable. But all in all, that should keep us covered for a while, so I have time to get some new people out here and do another load of Night Errant episodes. We also filmed a battle report Saturday, and that was actually really fun. We were 3 guys in the room, and none of us had actually read the rulebook or the indexes beforehand. I've been reading up on some of the lore, but actually didn't read any of the rule. I've seen some battle reports and stuff, but what we wanted to test was if the game was so intuitive that we could simply jump in and start playing and then just look up stuff here and there. And it turned out it was. We actually only had to look stuff during the first turn, I believe, and then a little bit once there was some assaulting, but it was very little, and there was probably a huge amount of rules mistakes in that battle report, but it didn't feel like we made mistakes, and we had a feeling of a fluid game, and that is pretty much what I was hoping for actually. So I'm talking, of course, 40k 8th edition, the big hype, and being my first ever battle report, I filmed a lot, and actually had to recharge the camera at some point, and that also means I have a ton to edit out, because I just kept the camera rolling. We were chatting about all sorts of stuff. I've tried to keep the atmosphere of the room in there, but I'm cutting away a lot of rant. That has no place there, and a lot of the stuff is repeated in the Night Errant episodes also, so no need to confuse the battle report with that kind. That means that with a bit of luck I'll be done editing that video tomorrow, and it will come up in a new playlist called Errant Battles, because I'm very original when I name stuff. And Errant Battles will be for all the battle reports I do that does not belong in a campaign or a narrative setting and stuff like that. It'll just be any one-off game basically that I film. I'll throw into that playlist, and I think that will in a few months time could end up being a really funny collection of different people and different games. And again, the whole idea of the playlists is that you put them on when you're painting, and hopefully they will keep you entertained. But yeah, that was a bit about my thoughts in the weekend. So the week on errand painting this week will be battle report tomorrow, Wednesday. We're not painting Primaris Marines. We are going to paint Poxwalkers because I had a request for that. Don't remember who wrote it, but I'll make sure to make a shout out when we make the video. And we're going for speed painting Poxwalkers, taking some inspiration from the White Wolf guide and the Warhammer TV guide, but also adding our own little touch to use some effect paints to again make it seem like a lot of time went into them, but actually, if it goes like I want, it should be possible to paint 10 of those within 2 hours. And I think I can succeed in that. I painted up the 6 Poxwalkers from First Strike, the easy to assemble ones, and that took me a little more than an hour, I think. But that was without a camera and just me painting and watching other people on YouTube. So yeah, that should be possible. That Wednesday. Thursday, I imagine we won't have an upload, but Friday, Hobby Tips will continue the basing videos with some Nurgle-themed Wasteland bases, and I'm having a lot of fun doing basing videos. So I think we'll stay on that for a few weeks before we move on to something else, unless somebody have a really funny suggestion and I'm like, oh I want to do that too. Then of course we'll jump over to that, and we can always go back to the bases and so forth. On Saturday, of course, Errant, and now I have episodes, so I can promise you there will be a Night Errant episode, which is nice. It is my hope that at some point this week I'll be able to film a new battle report too, so that next Tuesday there will be another battle report, but I will not put that down as a weekly show yet, because it's not realistic to maintain it, and it would feel like a failure. I already have had quite a struggle maintaining weekly Night Errants, so we'll take it slow and see where it goes. Other than that, for those wondering and those considering making requests, I am currently working about equal amounts of time on a Necron army, Death Guard / Demons of Nurgle army, and a Dark Angels, mainly Primaris, but I'll move into Death Guard soon, not Death Guard, Deathwing soon, I think. So there should be options for requesting some specific techniques or stuff like that you would like to see, and I can probably find somewhere on one of those armies where I can show that. So let me know if you have stuff that you've been wondering about, and please don't say I'd like to see how you speed paint a Warlord Titan, because I'm not going to go out and buy a Warlord Titan just to ruin it with a speed paint job. I'm not going to go out and buy a Warlord. I will not buy a Warlord Titan. I will not buy. I really want a Warlord. I will not buy a Warlord Titan. So sorry, don't expect yet that I can make purchases just for tutorials. It is my hope that we'll get there at some point. And while on that subject, I have a Patreon page now, like pretty much everyone else on the internet. And the idea behind that is that all the money that comes in to through Patreon will be used to maintain and expand this channel's content. So at this point, that will mean keeping me with paints that I use a lot more paint since I started this channel than I did before, and different paints, and it'll also be for covering stuff like specific models for tutorials or stuff like that. We're I think $2 from hitting the first goal, where I promised to start the show Errant Academy. That will be about basic techniques, building up slowly. What do you need? What paint should you use? What should you buy when you're just starting out so you don't overspend? All that stuff. And yeah, Errant Academy will be basically a multi-part beginner's tutorial, and it will run for however long people want to watch it. And I will launch that probably 14 days, approximately 14 days after we reach the goal. And the same goes for the next show, Errantscapes, which will be a all-terrain show, also weekly, and I will launch that again about 2 weeks after we hit that goal. So if you want to support this channel, jump over to Patreon and throw $1 or more in my general direction. Every bit helps. I mean, if 2 people give me $1 each every month, that is another pot of paint a month, which can really improve the channel. If I get even more in, we can start buying kits just for the tutorials. I can do more funky giveaways. I expect some giveaways will now be Patreon only, because that would be fair. And if they're basically, if they paid for it, they will be the only one to get a ticket in the raffle. And also, I promise to actually check the community part of the Patreon page, so that if my Patreons have requests and stuff like that, that will of course be moved up in the line. But this is not a Patreon commercial show. It was just mentioning it's there. And before I move on, I have 2 Patreons that I want to mention because they signed up this week, and that is Liselle, who has been mentioned as this channel before. She has an awesome Etsy store that you should really check out. She chose to support this channel not only with friendship but also with cool cash. That is awesome. A huge thanks from here. And the other is Martin Bull, who is a very good friend of mine and who decided to not only support but to pop in on one of the high levels of patronage, and it blows me away when people like what I'm doing and want to support it. So again, a huge thanks from here. Oh, how do they do that? Was he like that? The Imperial Killer. You guys rock, and I hope I can live up to your expectations with the content I put out and with the Patreon benefits. So and of course anybody else who decides to support, no matter the amount of money you throw at me, I will of course thank you in an Errant update. And if you happen to have a channel of your own or an Instagram or something like that, let me know, and I'll also, when I thank you, pop a link and tell people to go check out your stuff, because I think we as a community could do with some more throwing links out there. Oh yeah, and on a final note, check that out. I'm not sitting at the desk anymore. This is actually I'm sitting up against the wall, right across from the desk, but we are in the same little wooden shed, and as you can tell by the wall planks, that the shed is not a very well isolated construction. It is actually pretty much just cheap wood banked together to a box with something that resembles a door. But it works for what we're doing here. I now have the space to film battle reports out here. I have storage space for my scenery, so that I can actually get to it without having to unbox it all the time. I have a place to store armies right next to the gaming table, and as time progresses and I clean out even more, I'll have even more stuff ready at hand, which will also take some load off my work desk, so that I don't have to have everything standing there. All the stuff I only use now and then can be in boxes over here in the other part of the room, and that's super cool. But now that I'd say I'm about 2 good hours of work away from calling this project a success, cleaning out the shed that is and making it into a, let's still call it a makeshift studio. And a room like this definitely needs a name. And I've been thinking, and I can't decide. Actually, I can't even come up with something that I think is good. So if you have an idea for what I should call my studio, please let me know in the comments below. That would be super cool to get some suggestions for that, so that I can write it above the door and refer to it as the whatever. But yeah, I think that that's everything from here for this this Monday. I'll get assembling so that we actually have some Poxwalkers to paint, and I'll get the editing so that the battle report can come up tomorrow. And other than that, not much to say. Then I hope you all have a great week. I hope you will tune in for the various content coming up almost every day on this channel. And yeah, that's it. Take care, and bye bye.